All right, let's jump right into something that trips up a ton of people studying for their AWS Cloud Practitioner exam. We're talking about two services that sound kind of similar, but do totally different jobs. Key Management Service, KMS, and Secrets Manager. Nailing the difference here is, well, it's a game changer, not just for passing the exam, but for actually building secure stuff in the real world. So let's get this sorted out, shall we? Yeah, this is one of those classic areas where it's super easy to get tangled up. You're staring at an exam question about encryption, or maybe key rotation, or cross account access, and suddenly your brain's going, wait, is this a KMS thing or a secrets manager thing? We're going to make this distinction totally clear, and we'll focus on exactly the kinds of scenarios you're almost guaranteed to see on your test. Okay, first up, let's talk about AWS KMS. And to really get what this service is all about, I want you to just picture it as the ultimate key keeper. Seriously, that's its whole deal. Its entire job is creating and controlling the most fundamental tools of encryption. And what's so important on this slide is that wording. KMS doesn't just store keys, it lets you create and control them. Think of these keys like the actual physical key that locks a super secure safe. You use these keys to do the locking and unlocking, the encryption and decryption of your data across a whole bunch of AWS services, right? Your S3 buckets, your EBS volumes, your databases. So when you hear KMS, your first thought should be, this is the service for managing the tool that does the locking and unlocking. All right, so if KMS is our key keeper, then AWS Secrets Manager is, well, think of it as your application's personal butler. It's not forging the keys, but it is the one responsible for safely holding onto sensitive info and delivering it right when your application needs it. And this right here, this gets to the absolute core of the difference. Secrets Manager isn't about the keys themselves. It's about the stuff you want to protect with those keys. We're talking database passwords, API tokens, all those juicy credentials. Its job is to stash these secrets away so your app can just ask for them when it needs them. It's so much more secure than, pasting passwords directly into your code. So Secrets Manager handles the secret itself, not the encryption tool. Okay, now let's get into a classic exam-style problem. This is one of those scenarios that trips up just about everyone at first. I like to call it the cross-account gotcha, and it perfectly shows why you have to understand both of these services together. So picture this, right? You've got a central security account, let's call it account A, and it's storing a critical database password in Secrets Manager. Makes sense. Now you have a Lambda function over in a totally different account, account B, and it needs that password. So you do all the right things. You set up the IAM roles, you edit the secret's own resource policy to allow access. Everything looks perfect. You hit run, and boom, access denied. What gives? You did everything by the book with permissions. Or so you thought. And here's exactly how that frustrating failure happens. Step 1. You create the secret in account A. By default, it gets encrypted with a standard AWS managed key. Step 2. You attach a resource policy directly to the secret saying, hey, account B is allowed to read me. Step 3. Over in account B, you give your Lambda the IAM permission to make that get secret value call. It seems like you've checked all the boxes, right? But that access denied exception tells you there's a critical piece missing from the puzzle. I absolutely love this analogy I saw from a developer who banged their head against this exact problem. It explains it perfectly. The door is unlocked, but the box is welded shut. See, your IAM policies and your resource policy, they unlocked the door. They gave your Lambda permission to ask for the secret. But the secret itself is tucked away inside an encrypted box. And that box is locked with a key that simply refuses to work for anyone from outside the original account. The problem isn't about who you are, it's about not having the key to decrypt. And this slide right here shows you the fix. That default AWS managed key has a policy you can't touch. It's hardwired to only trust users and roles in the same account, no exceptions. To solve our cross-account problem, you have to create your own key, a customer-managed key, or a CMK. With a CMK, you control the key policy. You can go in there and explicitly add a rule that says, hey, that Lambda in account B, it has my permission to use this key for decryption. And just like that, you've unwelded the box. All right, let's pivot to the second major point of confusion, the word rotation. You're going to see this term used for both KMS and Secrets Manager, but for your exam, you have got to know they mean two completely different things. It's not even close. This table just breaks it all down perfectly. Let's look at KMS first. When KMS talks about rotation, it means it's creating new cryptographic material for the key behind the scenes. This happens automatically once a year, mostly for compliance reasons. The key's name, its ARN, stays the same, and, this is crucial, KMS keeps the old versions around so you can still decrypt old data. Now contrast that with Secrets Manager. When it talks about rotation, it means it's changing the secret itself. We're talking about generating a brand new password, logging into the database to update it, and then storing that new password. Once that happens, the old password is toast. It's gone. It no longer works. See the difference? One is about the key's internal material. The other is about the credential value. Okay, let's bring this all home. We're going to pull everything we've talked about into a simple, straightforward cheat sheet. Think of this as the logic you need to apply when you see one of these questions on your Cloud Practitioner exam, so you can nail the answer every single time. So, let's just boil it all down. Getting this distinction right is absolutely, well, key for your exam success. It all comes down to knowing the specific job that each of these services was built to do. So here it is, your exam cheat sheet. It really is this simple. You should be thinking about AWS KMS anytime a question is about controlling, managing, or auditing the encryption keys themselves. Things like encrypting an S3 bucket at rest or proving to an auditor who used what key and when. That's a KMS job through and through. On the other hand, you should be thinking about AWS Secrets Manager when the question is about the lifecycle of a credential. Things like getting rid of hard-coded passwords in your code, setting up automatic password rotation for a database, or securely sharing an API key. That is 100% a job for Secrets Manager. So as you walk into that exam room, just have this one simple question ready in your mind. Is this problem about who holds the key to the safe? If so, that's KMS. Or is the problem about who needs the secret that's locked inside the safe? That's Secrets Manager. Get that one distinction right, and trust me, you're going to be in fantastic shape.